I exalt thee. I exalt thee. I exalt thee. Welcome back, folks. Today's lesson, we're going to dive into some practical application of just gospel movement, gospel chords, little run, little riffs, all that goody stuff. We're going to dive into that today using the song I Exalt Thee. That's a popular song done in a lot of churches, and I'm just going to give you some ideas as to the way I play it, and then you can lift that and go implement it in your own service, all right? So stay tuned, that's what we're going to look at today. All right, welcome back, folks. My name is Warren McPherson. If you're new to the channel, and if you like this stuff at the end, be sure to give us a subscribe and a like. Little stuff like that really does help the channel to grow. Today's going to be a practical lesson where I'm just going to be giving you a lot of ideas. And side note, this is more geared towards the later intermediate player, right? It's going to be a lot of tricky stuff, so it's definitely not a beginner's lesson. However, I'm sure there's going to be stuff that beginners can pick up and use, so still stick around to the end. All right, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to be working out of the key of E flat major, and just for a refresher for the beginners who might be watching, E flat is the 1, F minor is the 2, G minor is the 3, A flat major is the 4, B flat major is the 5, C minor is the 6, and D diminished is the 7th. It's a good thing for you to practice every day is to just get accustomed to thinking about the numeric relationship of the key you're playing in, because those are some of the numbers we're going to be throwing around today. Now, this is the way you play I Exalt Thee, or probably the way you've heard it played, right? It's from the key of E flat. So I exalt thee, I exalt thee, I exalt thee, oh Lord. And if that's the way you play it, nothing wrong with that, right? Personally, I get a little bored after just doing that, so I start to mess with things. So we're basically working with the 1 chord, right? Then we go to the 5, I exalt. The melody's on the B flat the entire time. Take note of that. I exalt thee. So now we're on the 4. Oh Lord. Some people go to the 1 there, then they go to the 5. Or some people just go straight to the 5. Oh Lord. And that's basically the entire song. And, you know, if you're in Baptist or Pentecostal, or even some Methodists like AME, you could easily sing that song for 5-10 minutes, just that. So just playing the 1 to the 5 to the 4. Let's see now some of the things we can do to spice it up. So one of the things I like to do is do a 2-5 passing going back to 1. The melody starts in here, right? I exalt thee. So I do. I exalt thee. So that's our first idea. So what I'm throwing in here is like a suspension 4 chord, and I'm just throwing in the 9. Look at that voice thing. I'm voicing to the melody. Even though they might be a singer, I still like to voice to the melody. So that's what we got going on there. Notice I'm not playing any third, because again, this is like a suspension version of the chord. The 2, now when I get to my 5, same thing here, I'm opening it up, giving it that suspension. So this chord is often referred to as the Sus2 Sus4, B flat Sus2 Sus4, or a 4/5. 4 chord in the right hand, 5 in the left. So you'll hear both phrases thrown around in theoretical circles. So that's what I got going on there. And again, the reason why I'm opening it up with some suspension, it gives it that ambiguity and tension, right? Like it's building up to something. And what it's building up to is that 1 chord. So, Exalt Thee. And I'm just jumping up with that 4 and back down to the 1 because the melody's doing it, right? Exalt Thee, so exalt Thee. And this is why it's a good thing to intimately know the melody of every song you're playing, because that's going to guide how you start to change things and improv over it, right? Now what I like to do, I like to just fill that in right there, right? And all I'm doing is moving through the chords. So after I come back to the 1, I go back to the 4 in first inversion, move down to the 1 in second inversion, then to the 2 in first inversion, back to the 1. And it's just a nice way I like to move through chords sometimes, right? You listen to me do stuff like, it's a nice way of harmonizing the chords, right? So, no, roll it sometime to give it some character. Then I'm doing next chord. I exalt Thee. So I'm basically doing the same thing, going back to the 5, right? But this time I'm going to a straight 5/7. And then sometimes I go. These inner voices is to just fill space. So all I'm doing is taking the 3rd of the chord and moving it up chromatically. So I'm just going down here to the C and the E flat and then moving it up chromatically. This is what it sounds like in the context from the top. See, these are little character, like background movements, so I don't make them that loud, obvious, right? Then I'm doing I exalt Thee. And Ikidasa. That little run. Woo, there we go. So anyway, I'm just, and there's so many different variations in how you can do it. And I'm using that as a turnaround while I'm doing this in the left hand. I'm just walking it up, right, from the 6. So you can think about it as a 4 chord in first inversion, 5 chord in first inversion up to 1. But I'm not really playing all the notes of the chord. I'm just playing it. Sometimes I just do the 6th. Sometimes I'll just do the octave, filling the root note of the chord. And then sometimes I may just grab the whole chord. So whichever is convenient for you. And in the right hand, I'm doing, so we'll just start with this turn. Right? Right? So I make sure my B flat, I'm on that G. A little slower. And up the tempo. So that's a cool little turnaround run that I like to use right there, and that takes me back to the one. Let's play everything from the top again, slowly so you see it in context. I exalt thee. I exalt thee. And I and that takes us back to I Exalt Thee. Now, there's some chords that I skipped over. Let's go back and fill those out. And that was, how do I get from that 5 to that 4? I'm slipping in a tritone substitution. When I go, I exalt thee, after this, now I'm doing, right here we got an A augmented 7, flat 9. And one might say, Warren, how you know that chord would work? Well, a few things. One, I'm kind of willing it. I am twisting it and bending it to fit the song. So notice I'm voicing again with the melody at the top. The melody is what becomes the flat 9. And I also know that a tritone substitution often leads to 4. Now, if you're like, Warren, what's the tritone substitution? At this point, I've done quite a few videos on that. So I'm going to link up to one down below or the tag above right there. Video that talks deeper in tritone substitution. Basically, instead of going to the 1 as a dominant 7, that usually takes us to 4, you can substitute this one with the tritone. And the tritone is an interval of an augmented fourth. See, this is why I said this is a more advanced video. But again, there's a lot of tutorials right on the channel here that talks about tritone substitution. And I'm altering it to fit the chord. So because I'm playing that flat 9, and I want to keep things as diatonic as possible, I raise the 5th. So we're not playing this non-diatonic E, we're playing the F, which belongs to the key. I'm playing the G, which is the 7 of the chord. So really then the only non-diatonic tone that we're really talking about is the A and the C sharp. Everything else is diatonic. And that's one of the best ways to start using alterations to your chord. Alter chords so that the diatonic notes becomes the alterations within the chord. It's a more advanced concept, but just wanted to explain what was going on there. But I didn't just go, I exalt thee. I kind of weave in again a little chromatic inner voicing. You hear that? Gives it some color. I exalt. Now I'm on that 4. And so what I'm doing here is a 6-2 progression. Instead of just staying on the 4, I do. So you can think about it like a reharm passage, because I could have just done the 2. But I decided, what if I just pass through the 6 before going to the 2 and make that 6 a minor 11, you know? So, And sometimes I omit the third of this chord because I just kind of like that open ambiguity again, you know? And sometimes I may add it, you know? Omitting the third doesn't quite change the color of the chord for me, so that's why I often do it. So, right? When I'm playing, I'm always thinking about these inner connecting lines, how I can weave those. And it is something you can totally sit and practice. So I almost never just leave empty space, even though that has its quality. Sometimes less is more. But I find it filling in with just little 2 notes line, right? Little things like that can just create so much color, especially when it's just you alone, keyboardist with vocalists. It gives you opportunities to fill in that stuff. So I exalt thee. Then, oh, so I'm walking that up. I'm on my 2 melodies. Oh, so I'm harmonizing with that 1 in first inversion with the 9. Oh, so jump up to the B flat, but I'm still playing the 4 because it becomes now the add 9. I'm weaving it as part of the chord. Oh Lord, and now we have our suspension. You know, a turn around. There's a specific way I want to do it, which is that's the way I want to play it. So to get it flowing that way, I need to make sure that my B flat lined up with the G. So that's what I'm thinking, you know. Exalt thee. Do that again. I exalt thee. Oh, you can. So all I'm doing is just playing the major scale starting on like the B flat. B flat major scale starting the B flat. Pedal down. Because I have the time, right? That B flat's held for what? Low, low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So 8 counts. So you really can play a scale. Woo. Then back down and then exalt thee. I exalt thee. And I exalt thee. And so that little gospel ending that I'm sure you've heard before. Right? So, inner voice movement. The right hand is D, 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 D. Left hand. Together. And then sometimes I like to go. You know, just coloring it up with turns. And then this arpeggio. So it's a 1 major 7 chord. It's actually 1 major 13th, but I'm playing it like. Just arpeggiating those notes. Right? So that's how I play this song. Let's take it from the top to again see everything in context. All right? So here we go. I exalt thee. Now, I know that was a lot, right? So what I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna give you guys the MIDI file to download. And then you can take that MIDI file, put it in our MIDI player, and I'm gonna link to our MIDI player. It's a free online resource. And the beauty of the MIDI player is you can get to slow it down if you wanna see it as slow as possible. If you wanna also transpose it into another key, see everything I do, but in another key, the MIDI player shows you how to do that. And then just learn it. Learn as much as you can. You don't have to learn everything I do verbatim, because as you can see, I don't even play everything I do verbatim, right? I change some things here. It may come out a little bit differently. But what I wanted you guys to leave with from watching this tutorial is the concept, right? See how I'm doing these things. And that's really how you learn the skill of improvisation. I'm also going to link down below a PDF called The 7 Steps to Naming Any Chord, for those of you who want to get a little sharper on your chord theory. So when you see a bunch of clustered notes, or you're playing and you come up with a cool chord, but you kind of don't know what name to assign to it, this PDF equips you with all the skill as to how to go about thinking about chord theory and how to go about assigning a name to that chord. All right? So I trust this video was educational and entertaining for you. Again, thanks for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button and the like button if you're new to the channel and you love this content and want more like that. Little things like subscribe helps the channel to grow, help us to reach more people who can be benefited from this program. And lastly, Piano Lesson with Warren is my premium piano lesson membership, where I teach pianists from beginner to advanced how to play gospel piano by ear in a more structured, detailed way that goes way beyond the scope of YouTube. So if that's something that interests you, if that's something you feel you can benefit from, I highly recommend you check that out. We run a 7-day free trial for people to dive in, get access to the entire program, see what it's about. I guarantee you, if you like this video, you would love pianolessonwithwarren.com, so check that out. And if you want to hang out on YouTube for a little longer and you want more content similar to this, check out this video right here. All right, until then, have a blessed week and talk soon.